Ladies and gentlemen, with that glimpse of what in store for you all at this amazing port of Galle, where you will get the opportunity of being a part of the success story. With that note, we are ready to start the proceedings here at this, ladies and gentlemen, the Galle Port Development Symposium 2022, proudly hosted by the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. And it gives me great pleasure in inviting the following dignitaries and invitees to join with us to do the honors in lighting this very special lamp. Can we have with us the Honorable Minister of Ports and Shipping, Honorable Rohitha Abegunawardena, Honorable Minister of Plantation, Honorable Dr. Ramesh Pathirana, Honorable State Minister of Coast Conservation and Low-Lying Lands Development, Honorable Mohan De Silva. Can we also have the Galle District Development Committee Chairman, Honorable Sampath Athukorala, Honorable Member of the Parliament, Isuru Dorangoda, Secretary to the Ministry of Ports and Shipping, Mr. UDC Jayalal, Secretary to the Ministry of Tourism, Mr. Sirupala Hettiarachchi, Chairman of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, Dr. Prasantha Jayamanna, Chairman of the Export Development Board, Mr. Suresh Dimal, Executive Director of the Board of Investment, Mr. Prasanjit Vijayatilaka, Board of Director of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, Mr. Rohan De Silva. Representing the Diplomatic Corps, would like to call upon Dr. Rakesh Pandey, Consular of the High Commission of India here in Sri Lanka. Representing the corporate community, would like to call upon Mr. Krishan Balendran, Chairman of the John Keells Holdings. Representing the tourism sector, would like to call upon the Chairperson of the Jetwin Hotels, Ms. Shiromal Gurey. Representing the construction sector, would like to call upon Chairman of Access Engineering, Mr. Sumal Pereira. Can we also have the Director General of Sri Lanka Customs, Retired Major General Ravi Priya, also joining with us to do the honors. Representing the shipping community, would like to call upon the Chairperson of CASA, Ms. Shihara De Silva. Representing the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, Managing Director, Mr. Upul Jayatissa. Additional Managing Director of Sri Lanka Ports Authority, Mr. Susantha Abesiruwardena. At an important juncture of increasing public demand for time-sensitive, comprehensive action plan that would attract reputable local and foreign investments to achieve national development goals, ladies and gentlemen, we have gathered here to make a part of the development of the Port of Galle, which is indeed located in the ancient city considered as a jewel for tourists. Being a UNESCO World Heritage Site, this historic city is a mesmerizing and fascinating destination to explore with an ancient foreign trade port blessed with Dutch cultural buildings, ancient churches and temples mansions, and museums. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to welcome all of you for the Galle Port Development Symposium 2022, proudly hosted by the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. And it gives me great pleasure in inviting Managing Director of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority. Please welcome Mr. Upul Jayatissa.
Honorable Minister of Ports and Shipping, Rohit Abegunwadana, Honorable Minister of Plantations and Industries, Ramesh Patirana, Honorable State Ministers, Members of Parliament, Your Excellencies, Secretary to the Ministry of Ports and Shipping and all secretaries, state and corporate sector heads, distinguished delegates, dignitaries, visually connected delegates representing over 32 countries and over 130 participants. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you all to the inauguration of the Galle Port Development Symposium. I would like to extend a special welcome to our international guests, as it is the first time for some of them to join us through this virtual platform. It is my sincere hope that we will be able to see and meet you in the future, and that you find yourself at home whenever you are in Sri Lanka. The Sri Lanka Ports Authority, which continues to work tirelessly to strengthen the national economy of Sri Lanka, has been recognized globally as an institution that strives to fulfill its responsibility to maintain the efficiency of the global supply chain. We are proud to be a part of the great transformation that has taken place in the maritime industry during the period from the establishment of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority in 1979 to date. It is truly the harvest of collective responsibility. In the past few decades, we have witnessed several groundbreaking transformations in the maritime industry and the world around and in Sri Lanka. On one hand, we have been able to expand the capacity of the Port of Colombo, constructing new container terminals, and introducing the latest technologies to boost the credibility, reliability, and efficiency of services. On the other hand, new ports were constructed, and we began implementing development initiatives to optimize the capacity of our existing ports and harbors. It is in this context, Galle Port Development Plan is unveiled under the patronage of the President, His Excellency Gotabaya Rajapaksa, and Prime Minister, His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa, and the guidance of the Minister of Ports and Shipping, Honorable Rohit Abegunwadana. As you know, the Port of Galle is the oldest natural and one of the most vibrant ports in Sri Lanka, strategically located close to the main shipping route. It is a well-known factor that this port was a politically significant and economically and crucial port in the world history. The ancient city Galle plays a significant role in tourism, and the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, with the support of the Ministry of Ports and Shipping, Government of Sri Lanka, emphasized making a global tourist hub in Sri Lanka, with successful completion of new development in the Galle Port. This development project aims to add value to the tourist attractions in and around the Galle Harbour in line with current market demands. At the first phase of this development plan aims to construct the breakwaters in the outer vicinity of Galle Bay to maintain sufficient calmness. The reduced wave heights and calmness in the bay will open a wider avenue for economic and tourism activities in the region. As such, seawater activities facilitating several marina facilities and shelter for the small boats during favorable weather. At present, Galle Port has the facility to berth cruise vessels, but with this development, a new cruise berth will be available in Galle Port to accommodate the largest cruise vessel in the world. Galle Port land area will be increased by 40 hectares with the land reclamation using dredging material. The investors will give an opportunity to develop a super modern real estate business incorporating apartments, hotels, villas, leisure parks, etc. in this area. Further, construction of a state-of-the-art cruise terminal retaining the colonial heritage architecture for cruise clients to enjoy whilst relaxing in the stunning modern-day facilities. The Galle Port, surrounded by calm water, Rumasal Hills, ancient Dutch fort, colonial heritage architecture offers a vista of opportunity. Embedded within the fort area, colonial buildings, plush restaurants, upscale boutiques, hotels, and the finest shops dealing in spices, handloom, antiques, gems, and jewelry. It is with this ambition of uplifting these entities that efforts are being made to develop the Galle Port. So, how are we going to get there? Construction of 2 breakwaters having 850 meters and 150 meter length to maintain the sufficient calmness to the Galle Bay and harbour. Construct of cruise berth having a 150 meter length and 12.5 meter draft to accommodate largest cruise vessels in the world. Reclamation using dredging material of harbour basin and access channel will increase the Galle Port land area by another 40 hectares. The investor could develop a super modern real estate business incorporating apartments, hotels, villas, leisure parks, etc. in this land reclamation. Construction of a state-of-the-art cruise terminal retaining the colonial heritage architecture for cruise clients to enjoy whilst relaxing in the stunning modern-day facilities. Facilitate the port with aids to navigation for 24/7 port operation. Express of interest EOI process will be commenced in early February 2022, and you are kindly invited to participate for the project. This is invaluable opportunity for sea and air access to tourism industry, connecting entire island, and expect interesting parties to go to grab in both hands. The project development video and documentary will be shown now, and question answer session will be followed. Your interest to participate this ambitious project at this venue and online connection all over the world are greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Managing Director of Sri Lanka Ports Authority, Mr. Upul Jathis, welcoming all of you whilst making the opening remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, Galle represents the quintessence of Sri Lanka, untapped natural beauty, indigenous art and living culture, archaeological remnants dating back to the most ancient era, pristine beaches and crystal clear sea water with breathtaking panorama. Before we move on with the next presentation about the investment opportunities and how the Board of Investment, the role, it's time to take a look at a special video compiled on the development of the Port of Galle.
Vistas of Prosperity and Splendor, the national policy framework of His Excellency the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa is also aimed at the development of regional ports of Sri Lanka. The policy document states to develop Galle, Kankasanture and Trincomalee according to the requirement of each region and needs of national economy. Honorable Minister of Ports and Shipping Rohitha Begunawardena has identified it as his utmost responsibility to make it a reality. Accordingly, carefully selecting the development of the Port of Galle as an investor-friendly real estate and tourist destination, the Honorable Minister has personally focused his attention on designing it with the most suitable project for it. To this end, the successful steps taken by the Honorable Minister during his visit at the Port of Galle have been a huge leap on its sustainable development. The request came from Dr. Romesh Pathirana, Honorable Minister of Plantation. To expedite the process was one reason the Honorable Minister wanted to fast-track the project. Sri Lanka, formerly known as Ceylon, has been hailed as a tourism destination for centuries. The well-known explorer Marco Polo stated that Sri Lanka was the finest island in the world. Today, it has remained among the world's best tourist rankings due to its historical and geographical uniqueness. The Port of Galle is located in Galle on the southwestern coast of Sri Lanka, 119 kilometers from Colombo. Today, it is a very attractive and booming tourism destination in the country. The city has connected with the southern highway and with railway extended up to Beliatta. The famous beaches of the southern coast of Sri Lanka, such as Unawatuna, Hikkaduwa, Tengol and Kan Elia, are near the port. Recreation opportunities available for leisure include whale and dolphin watching, seaborne safaris, surfing, boating, scuba diving and many more. Ancient Greek and Roman geographers may have known about the Port of Galle, which they might have called the Cape of Birds. Ptolemy has known the port as Hodoka. The Portuguese arrived in 1505 and later built a small fort. In 1640, the Dutch rebuilt the town and it reached its height of development. Today, Galle is the best example of a fortified city built by the Portuguese in South and Southeast Asia. Galle Harbour is a natural harbour. It is the most attractive regional port in the country and safe and magnificent shelter for passenger cruise lines. It is the only Sri Lankan port that provides facility for pleasure yachts. International yacht societies have recognized Galle Harbour as one of the world's best attractions for yachting. The Sri Lanka Ports Authority has planned to develop the existing Port of Galle to cater the increasing demand for the tourism industry in Sri Lanka regionally and internationally. The proposed development project expects to provide fully fledged facilities for the Port of Galle to attract more cruise vessels as well as tourists. Construction of two offshore breakwaters having 850 meters and 150 meters length to maintain the sufficient calmness in the Galle Bay and harbour where the wave height is lesser than 30 centimeters. Constructions of a cruise berth having a 150 meter length and 12.5 meter draft to accommodate the largest cruise vessels in the world. Reclamation using dredging materials of harbour basin and access channel and increase the Galle city land area by another 40 hectares. The investor could develop a super modern real estate development mixed with tourism. Construction of a state-of-the-art cruise terminal retaining the colonial heritage architecture for cruise clients to enjoy whilst relaxing in the stunning modern-day facilities. The project is open to suitable investors with opportunities for development through the expression of interest and request for proposals process starting from 9th February 2022. The entire project value is 175 to 200 million US dollars. The return on investment from the project is ensured with promising demand of real estate developments connected with tourism, incorporating mixed developments that include apartments, hotels, water villas, leisure parks and reclamation facilities. The calm water could facilitate a number of super yacht marina facilities, scuba diving, reef exploration, seawater sports and many more. Investment opportunities shall be opened to the private sector, ensuring opportunity in attracting capable private sector investments, opening opportunities to both local and international entrepreneurs. This is a great advantage to contribute to the economic development of the country, and this project will play a prominent part in the tourism development of Sri Lanka. The succession of the project will see a new meaning to the Port of Galle, magnificent tourist port, truly being the tourism hub in the South Asia.
The Port of Galle, magnificent tourist spot.
So, ladies and gentlemen, to talk to you all about the investor opportunities and the mechanisms in place for a smooth and effective investment, it gives me a great pleasure in inviting the Executive Director of the Board of Investments. Please welcome Mr. Prasanjit Vijaytilaka.
Minister of Ports and Shipping, Minister of Plantations, Chairman, Sri Lanka Ports Authority, other dignitaries and distinguished guests, everyone here present today as well as online. It gives me great pleasure to share our thoughts as the Board of Investment on what I would say is not only a timely event, but almost essential when you consider the economic trajectory of Sri Lanka. So, as an island nation located in a globally strategic location, basically we are at the cusp of the Indian Ocean, so adopting a blue economy strategy is almost mandatory for Sri Lanka. And a symposium of this nature highlights more than just the project opportunities that were detailed in that very elaborate video. It gives a very clear indication as to the direction of this strategy. It gives a very clear indication to not just the specific project opportunities, but the other opportunities that lie therein. So you can see some of the key words mentioned showed that things like sustainability, renewable energy, conservation, sustainable tourism, a lot of the basics are covered. So this is clearly a very comprehensive master plan. And as the Board of Investment, we focus on attracting foreign direct investment as well as facilitating investment within the economy. Now, we focus on investment for growth. So what you saw there on the screen is a very optimistic growth picture, a very positive projection of what's available here in Sri Lanka. Now, it gives a very clear message of our country's expectation from this sector overall. So Sri Lanka has very significant advantages other than for our unique geographic location. We have, for example, in contrast to our landmass, we have 7 times sovereignty in the ocean in terms of expanse. Now, this results in significant access to ocean and ocean-based resources. So also from a logistics perspective, we are adjacent to major shipping lanes, as Chairman SLPA mentioned. There's been significant growth, continued growth, despite whatever challenges, there's been continued growth and interest in this sector. And this has lent strength to the economy. And I noticed some very senior faces from the tourism sector here. So without doubt, that has been another cornerstone of this economy, which is also somewhat dependent or which derives from the benefits of our ocean-based attractions. So Sri Lanka's tourism sector pre-pandemic used to record something like 35% CAGR year on year. During not just the last couple of years, but I would say for about the last 15 plus years, we've seen Sri Lanka hailed as a must-visit destination from a number of different publications or channels. Most recently, CNN's travel had, I believe we were one of the top 20 destinations in 2020. Colombo was, I think, signified as one of the best destinations to travel to in 2022. Readers of Travel and Leisure magazine ranked Sri Lanka as one of the top 25 islands in the world in 2021. And we were ranked as the 5th best country in the world to travel to in 2021 as well by the Condé Nast Traveler's Reader's Choice. 2022 has even shown further encouragement in terms of the tourism sector. Just in the first 2 weeks of this month, I mean, we are still fresh into the month of January, we recorded 45,000 tourist arrivals as per the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority. Now that's in contrast to a mere 1,600 the same period the year before. So this is, I think, a great indicator of the resurgence of the tourism sector. And along with this resurgence comes the need to build infrastructure. Infrastructure project opportunities that were detailed by both Chairman SLPA as well as the video. It shows that there's a lot that is going to happen in this sector in the very near future. Now, from the Hilton in Colombo to the Shangri-La in the southern coast, we have some of the best names in global hospitality here in Sri Lanka. The southern coast is also home to the Marriott, the Avani Group, Centara, Taj, Anantara, and it only goes to show that with development planned in and around Galle, the southern coast will have a few more of these significant names coming in very soon. We are, I would say, Sri Lanka, we are the epicenter of the world's growth, which is Asia. We are considered the gateway to the largest growing economy in this part of the world, and that's India. So combine this with global market access, a talented workforce, we have a lot of things going for us. Now, it lends considerable weight, a development program of this nature lends considerable weight to the investment opportunities and the investment potential in the country. And on behalf of the BOI, which is the apex body for promoting and facilitating foreign direct investment, we assure you of agile and responsive facilitation, sensitive to investor needs. We are focused on attracting anchor investors from overseas. We are focused on fostering the key investors present locally, and we want to foster these game changers who will propel our economy to the next level. We are beholden to facilitate those conversations, the correct conversations with the key areas in government to make that investment a reality. In conclusion, I'd like to leave you with the thought that Sri Lanka has always posed a great investment opportunity to the astute investor. And we are very keen that all of you here today, or virtually, take advantage of the opportunity that is Sri Lanka. We have great plans and solid ambitions for our country's potential, and we want to realize this in significant economic growth. I welcome you all to be part of that growth story. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Representing the Board of Investments, Executive Director, Mr. Prasanjit Vijaythilaka, addressing all of you. So with that note, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to start the Q&A session, the forum. Already we have got 55 representatives from different countries joining with us over Zoom. But apart from the physical audience that have gathered here at the Cinema Grand. So ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure in introducing the members of the eminent panel of personalities who will share their thoughts on the the development of the Port of Galle. We have the Chairman of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, Dr. Prasantha Jayamanne, Executive Director of the Board of Investment, Mr. Prasanjit Vijayatilaka, Managing Director of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, Mr. Upul Jayatissa, Additional Managing Director, Mr. Susantha Besirwardana, Director, Development of the Sri Lanka Ports Authority, Mr. Saman Devapriya, and Chief Engineer of Planning and Development, Ms. Fawzana Hussain. Welcome, and we are ready to entertain all your queries, concerns with regards to the said subject, development of the Port of Galle. Everyone joining us virtually, you can unmute yourself and ask the question through the chat box, as well as you can ask it verbally. We have already got a question from the Zoom. That's about the cement plant at the Port of Galle. What would happen to it? Would that be located outside, coexist? The situation.
The Port of Galle clearly identified as a tourist destination with the initiation of this project. So the cement plant at the moment, it continues at minimum stage. So we are thinking of doing alternatives, and if it is within allowable limits of emission of dust, so it is okay. But if it is not, we thinking of relocation it with.
Right. There's another question with regards to the concessions and the reliefs for the investors coming in for the investments. Anyone to talk about that? BOI?
So, in keeping with the current investment incentive regime, this will possibly be on a project-by-project basis. At the moment, we are in a position to offer fiscal concessions as well. So depending on the nature of the project, its impact to the overall Galle Port Development Program, as well as the impact to the national economy, we should be able to structure a custom incentive package that would benefit both the country as well as the investor. It will be very much project-based, to my understanding.
Excuse me.
Yes, please.
I'm from Singapore, Safra Venture Capital. I would like to know what is the ROI status. Suppose the investor comes in, and when you are going to resume the groundbreaking on this project.
This project feasibility has been completed, and the internal rate of returns and everything has been done. So this is a very positive benefit project for any investors who are going to invest in this project. So am I answered your question?
Is there any special tax exemptions by the government on this project?
Generally, all the port-related development so far what we have done has attracted all the tax concessions. Even inside the port, whenever somebody comes in and try to do FDI, we try to get all the benefits through BOI as well as through SDP channels, and going even into the parliament and getting through the parliament approving the SDP status and all. I'm sure this type of a significant project will get all these benefits as well as special other benefits whatsoever possible to get to the investors. Is it what you are looking at?
Overall investments, I'm looking at it. I mean, we are looking at it like a EPC, for example. So if you come on the EPC investments, so there is one important factor is that the tax exemption from a government or from a certain identity or whatever it is. So I just want to know, is there any allocation for that, or is it the normal tax benefits, like normal tax payments that you're supposed to accommodate?
No, generally port-related mega developments have gone through STP channels, special development project category, and they attract so many other benefits. Generally, these type of projects, the investor could discuss with the BOI as well as with the GOSL, and they could request even special tax concessions for a longer period of time. We are open to discuss all those things.
Thank you very much.
We have a question from Bangkok. It's about the bidding process, how it's going to take place. Would it be solicited or non-solicited terms?
The bidding,
Yeah, we can hear you.
the bidding process is.
Can speak a little louder, if possible.
This is the open competitive bidding process where we will start from invitation for the expression of interest. So once we receive these things, so we will pre-qualify the investors, then we will call for the request for proposals. So with this one, we will conclude or we will find a prospective investor for this project. So this will be an open competitive bidding process through a very transparent procedure in the, through the government, which is stipulated in the government of Sri Lanka.
And at the same time, as you can see on the screen, there's a discussion with regards to the what type of investor model, whether would it be PPP or BOT or FDI model or any other models preferred?
We are ready to entertain multitude of different quantum or different types of investments. Now, I could see over here eminent hoteliers and investors from the Sri Lankan community who are, I could see the number one engineering, civil engineering company chairman is over here. Then the chairperson of well-known tourist sector hotelier, then the chairman of John Keels and McLaren chairman, all these are there. They could get into a consortium and they could bid for this thing with foreign investment. That would be a lovely scenario that we could see. SLPA will be a part of this thing because this is obviously our property, and we are going to have a partnership, probably a PPP kind of a thing, and private-public partnership. And the modality is, since this is going as a EOI, the suggestions could come from the investors, what they want, what they would like to request from us. Then we could open up certain other things. We don't have to fix into a certain framework. We could open up certain avenues and we could look into that thing. Because of that, I don't see any fixed mechanism that we should get into the investment. We could have several investors coming in various parts of the project, but SLPA will coordinate, and BOT could be a good one, PPP is a good one. These all the things are open. Since that is why we are going for a EOI process without getting into a kind of a predetermined RFP with our model of structuring and trying to get bids for that thing.
Right. There's another question with regards to the environmental impact, whether the Sri Lanka Ports Authority have already conducted an environmental impact study, whether the report is available, plus the effects of the breakwater on the current natural currents and the wave actions, as well as the current coral areas in the Bay Area being planned for the reclamations, and the wreck heritage of the cannons in the area next to the cruise terminal.
So the EOI process for the entire project completed, but we need to, we are now on the process of getting additional EIA for the reclamation that was not in the initial project. In the wrecks and so the all wrecks and preservation artifacts are all identified in the initial EIA, so those are not changed. The reclamation areas, there are no any wrecks and artifacts. In the coral, that is not affected, and entire responsibility of EIA for the first phase So that is the construction of infrastructure, and the reclamation is the responsibility of SLPA. There will be a second part of EIA for the development of the facilities in reclaimed area. So that is to be done with the assistance of UDA and their guidelines.
Thank you very much. So thank you for the opportunity for this question. Yes, I am the Maldivian High Commissioner here in Sri Lanka, and this is a very exciting project. And it is so very relevant to Maldives also, because Maldives and Sri Lanka has enjoyed thousands of years of relations. And of course, the first contacts were through seafarers. And I remember Maldivian sailors, even my grandfather back in the day, and there were only natural resources to navigate the boats. And the happy moment is when they see the Galle, the lighthouse. And that was literally the light at the end of the tunnel for Maldivians that's traveling in the dark and in rough weathers. So this is very exciting. My question is, during the presentation it was mentioned that it was $170 or $180 million. Is that the cost of expansion and the 40 hectares and the breakwaters and the shore protection? And also, is there a seaplane ferry terminal included? Thank you.
Actually, 175 to 200 million is the investment for the breakwater as well as the quay wall and related infrastructure. We believe we have put little more than the equation was required. Actually, if you do some value engineering, you might be able to do even in less than that. And 175 to 200 million is the maximum threshold that could go on. And that will cover the 850 meter and 100 meter breakwater and the expansion of the quay wall and other key infrastructure development. Then the reclamation of land of 40 hectares also included into the same 175 to 200 million this thing. I just wanted to add another point at this time. Now the Sri Lanka Ports Authority is a facilitator of this project, and we are ready to work on behalf of you to get all the necessary approvals and get all the required concessions from the government and all the necessary authorities. Now we have been doing this thing for last several years, getting all the approvals through the UNESCO, through required all the other these things, Gold Heritage Society, and all these things we have taken. Now it is at the last level. We are ready to go into the next level, and once the investor comes in, what they could do is just start the development. We will take care of the balance part of bureaucracy or red tapes and all the other things that we could assure, because we have been very famous for closing a record investment in Sri Lanka within a period of less than 1 year, $650 to $700 million investment of West Container Terminal. That vigor, that efficiency, we will apply into the same thing, and we'll be able to get it done. And you could trust on us by looking at what we have done.
Someone joining virtually would like to know whether there would be any restrictions on equity shareholding from a non-Sri Lankan organization.
Actually, we are going with a kind of a open mind over here. We don't want to put any restrictions, but SLPA will be a part of the equation. We will be a part. We want the investment to come in. Definitely, we have certain things that we are bringing into the table. For that thing, we will be having equity share as SLPA. But obviously, there's no restriction. Whoever who wants, who could come up with whatever the formulas, we are open to discuss those things.
Dr. Sarath Obesekara, the CEO of Walker's Shipyard, would like to know whether SLPA would include yacht repair facility in the project.
The yacht repair facility, actually, it is a part of yacht marinas. So it is included, actually. There's no doubt.
And he still want to know whether the government would use the government valuer. SLPA would use the government valuer for the sea and land areas.
Yeah, this is on the open competitive RFP process. So we retain this spirit and go ahead with go ahead with those guidelines given in the guidelines, and so the answer is so the government valuation will be coming with this competitive process, I hope. It's not necessary to be restricted to government valuation.
Basically, when it's come to a kind of a competitive bidding, there's no restriction which as imposed by the government valuer. If it's a kind of only an individual bidder or unsolicited tender, then we might have to go for that thing. But if it's in a competitive bidding process, it's open for everybody. In that case, we have not come across in other tender processes and the developments that we have done in port with open competitive bidding process that the government valuer as the equation is coming and blocking anything.
Right. One Mr. Paul Galle would like to know whether there are plans in place to improve the road network, the accessibility by road or rail access.
The rail access is very close in the vicinity, so we are working on the rail access to the Port of Galle. The road connection is, the passage is there and it is included into the project.
Actually, I want to ask that you didn't reply that the Maldives High Commissioner's answer the question, but I'm also very keen about that whether they are going to, complete the seaplane area for that because it is very essential. We don't have any. Is available?
I think the calm water area inside the port is massive, so the seaplane, so we can entertain. But we have to find a passage for it and maybe a time gap for it. So that is possible.
So would it be dedicated only for tourism? Because as of now, the Port of Galle is engaged in other services and operations.
The government intention and identification, this is the tourist destination. So we are going ahead with this the topic and the theme.
What is the expected time period for the completion of the project?
The time needed for completing this type of project is 3 years, maybe 3.5. So we conclude our RFP process within short period of time. We hope within 6 months to 9 months we can conclude it. So so the time of implementation is altogether maybe 3.5 to 4 years.
Okay, one Mr. Christian joining virtually would like to know the guidelines in place for the development of the GFA, heights and other controls, especially of the 40-hectare reclamation in terms of planning, controls, users, design, as there will be no doubt the comments from the UNESCO in relation to the Galle Fort, the UNESCO site across the bay.
So the UNESCO clearance is obtained for the infrastructure development. For this reclamation is in the far away corner of this Port of Galle. So the guidelines for the development, we have to work with UDA. And the UDA master plan, we are working with, including this part in the UDA master plan. So those will be coming in with the RFP, their guidelines, and so that will be enclosed.
Another one wants to know what would happen to the fishing fleet and Navy berthing docks and repairs.
The fishing community for the construction period may affected, but after completing the reclamation, the in front of beach is open for the public and even the fishing and the Mardal fishing and so on. So there won't be any issue once the project is completed.
It's not a question really. I am from the yacht manufacturing and chartering company in Sri Lanka. We have 10 yachts in water, and we really welcome this project at this time because we feel this is the need of the hour. And we are managing with the mini marinas in Mirissa
and also in Port City. And we are developing our chartering right around the country, from south, east, and today we are doing, we are successful in doing a trial cruise to north. So with that, we welcome and we really appreciate the initiative taken by the Minister and the Port Authority. And we wish you all the very best for the project.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Pertaining to the question raised regarding the operation of the cement facility there, actually as the chairman pointed out, it has come to the bare minimum level now. So as at now, they are using the Hambantota port. So we want to create and also develop this Galle Port as a dedicated, 100% dedicated tourist port. So with time, we should be able to remove that facility from there. It's very clear. And also, I take this opportunity to thank Honorable Minister and also the Chairman of the Ports Authority and also the other officials on behalf of the people of Galle. So this is a much awaited project for Galle actually. It's a heritage city from one side and a famous tourist attraction. So I kindly invite all of you to give a good thought about this and also come forward with your suggestions. So it's open for discussions. And also the Honorable Minister and also the Chairman is willing to cooperate with you in all the aspects and also the matters covering to this subject. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Ramesh Pathirana. So if there are no more questions, we can wrap up the formalities. In wrapping up, would like to request all of you to stand and rise for the national anthem of Sri Lanka.
Lanka.